Not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, said the Lord of hosts. Not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, said the Lord of hosts. I'm Elijah, and this is the program that you're listening to. Uh, we know that not by might, nor by spirit, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts. That's Zechariah chapter 4, verse 6. And you know the spirit of the Lord is prophecy. And we know that prophecy is doctrine. So, of course, you know I have two dreams for you. Um, the dream that I had this dream yesterday morning, but this morning dream, there was a conflict going on, and in this conflict, this woman had was in conflict with this man, and so at the end of the conflict, I don't know what they was doing, what type of fighting or whatever they was into, but he showed me this arrowhead, and the woman said, "That's why I didn't." That's why I didn't let you handle it. That's all she said. That's why I didn't let you handle it. So that's really a personal dream. Had something to do with me also, but that was a dream this morning. Now, last night, the dream was we was on the outside of a schoolhouse. We had something that looked like a macaroon or cocoa butter, that type of yellowish goldish color, but it was powder like. So I was two other men. They told I told them to look up in the schoolhouse on the third floor window, and had this man that was up there that was looking at us. So we say that was surveilling us, whatever. So he was just looking at us, and he had this man in a blue uniform watching us. We went into the schoolyard. The man was with me, had papers. So as I sit down before they had this messenger came because I was looking for rolling papers or something. So he bought me some rolling papers. And so at first I looked at the rolling papers, about to complain, but I said, no, they'll do the job. So he bought me the rolling paper. I took them inside. I took them and I had this plastic bowl type. And so I took the substance and I rolled the stuff in the rolling paper. So I got up, and so I got up. The other two men, I don't know where they had gone, but they wasn't there. So I got up with the stuff, and I went outside the schoolyard. So I passed by these two women and a man. So this man was in the car. And so passed by to us, so I had the substance in the bowl. So I just took it, emptied the substance outside the bowl. I didn't know whether it was illegal or whatever. I just emptied it outside the bowl and outside the schoolyard. So these people, they had on security uniform, but they didn't have it was security guards uniform, but they didn't have weapons on them. This was the uniforms. So this woman and one man, they had on security uniform. I pulled out the substance on the ground before them. One of the women said, "Come here," and so she said, "Come here," but I kept walking. So she caught up with me. So she and the man and woman that was with her told her not to bother me, but she said he might have something on him. So she told him, say, not to bother me, but she said he might have something on. So I had rolled the substance I had rolled up in the rolling papers. I put it in my mouth, but I didn't swallow it all. I just put it in my mouth and had part of it inside my throat, so I can regurgitate it. So she came and said, "Open your mouth." So I opened it, and she wanted to put her hand down my throat. I told her, "Oh no, you might." I said, "You might give me some the coronavirus, and I can't let you do that." So she said she wanted to be assistant. So when I pulled my head back, I hit my chest and I swallowed the substance. I swallowed all the substance, and so when I got back in front of her, she still wanted to put her hand down my throat. I told her, "No, wait. I told her wait. I hit my chest and make the substance was all the way down my throat. She didn't want to continue. I said, no, you might still make me sick with that virus. And so she called me. She called the man over for him to do it, and I told him no. I told him no. And I said, no, the same goes for you. So now if you try to force me, it's going to make you sorry. I said, yeah. So if you try to force it, I'm going to make you sorry. And then I'm going to sue you. And they all had on blue security uniform with no weapon. This all happened on outside of the schoolyard fence. So I'll repeat that dream. So it was outside of a schoolyard. In the schoolyard don't make a difference. And so as we was outside the schoolyard with two other men and we was talking and everything, I said, look at the man upstairs watching us, and he had on a blue uniform and he was watching us. And so as he was watching us, next scene, I'm sitting down inside the schoolyard on like on the steps, like on a porch part of the steps. And so they had, yeah, a brother of mine. He bought me some rolling papers because I had some type of substance. It was the yellow type of substance, gold-looking substance that I had in a bowl. And I had needed some rolling paper, so he bought me a rolling paper. So I rolled it up. So as I rolled the thing up, and I had the bowl in my hand with the substance still in it. So next thing I'm walking on outside the schoolyard fence, and I pass the car. So I see these security people. So I take the substance that I rolled in the rolling paper. I take and swallow that, but I don't swallow it all the way. I don't make it go all the way down. I just make it get caught up in my throat. So the next, so the next, so the next scene, I'm amping the stuff out. Wherever I had in the bowl, I'm amping out in front of the security guard people. So they had three. It was two women, and a man. So I'm amping stuff out in front of them. And so I keep walking. But one of the security guard ladies said, told me to stop, come here. And then another security guard said, no, don't. She said, told him, say, leave him alone. Don't stop him. Said, don't stop him. She said, don't stop him. As I passed by, she said, don't stop him. And I pulled out the substance on the ground. The woman said, come here. And the man and the woman said, what I told her, not to, yeah, said, don't stop him. And then she said, he might have something on him. So I took that with a head roll on, put it in my mouth, swallowed and stuff like that. So as I get around the corner, the one security guard woman told me to stop, come here. But I just kept walking. So she approached me and then she turned me around and looked at me, opened up your mouth. So she didn't see nothing in my mouth. But she wanted to put a hand down my throat. And I said, no, you can't do that. I said, you might give me the coronavirus or something. And she just wanted to be persistent. So I just backed up a little bit, coughed and hit my chest to make the roller thing go all the way down for me to swallow all the way down. And then she still wanted, after she did that, she still wanted to put her hand in my mouth. I said, no. I told her, no. I told her, no. So you can't do that. So I told her another thing. She called this other man, the man that was with us, called him over there and tried to force me. I told him, say, no, man. I said, you still can't do that. So I told the man, I said, man, you still can't do that. I'm still not gonna let you do that. Because you still might make me sick with that fire. And then after I told him that, I said, well, now, or well, if you're gonna try to force me and make me, you're gonna be sorry because I'm going to sue you. And then I woke up from that dream. So that was two dreams. Now there are other things that's going on. But you know how God is. You know, God wants you to be strong in the power of His might, and don't worry about these other things, because He gonna take care of it. And my problem is that sometimes those things, sometimes you forget those things because you have so many other things going on in your life. Okay, well let's get into it. Of course, I know that I heard T. Jakes and Joel Osteen regurgitating the same old thing. But I told you I was gonna find and tell you about Moses and the reason why. Yeah, tell you how Moses was. And Moses was like 66 years old before he met Zipporah, even before he started having sex. Moses was like 60 something years old. And he said, man, come on. He said, well, I'm going to show, because our people wasn't like that, man. Our people was pure people. We learned these things from the heathen. Yeah, we were faithful and true. We learned that from the heathen. We was never those type of people. Even from the time we was on our holy mountain. Now, Cain, them children was always like that. Esau children was always like that, but we wasn't like that. We wasn't. So let's go. We're going to chapter 73. We're going in this book here. Let me get the book for you. Book of Enoch, Jubilees and Hash. This book called Banned from the Bible. And this one is written by Joseph Lufkins. And we're going to chapter 73, verse 32. Chapter 73, verse 32. I guess we're going to start at verse 30. All right, so Moses took the city by his wisdom, and the children of Cush placed him on the throne instead of King king of Cush. They placed a royal crown on his head, and they gave him a wife, Adana, and a Cushite queen, wife of King Canias. Moses, now see, Moses and Joseph was already like that, because I already read that to you. Now look, Moses feared the Lord God of his father, so he came not to her, nor did he turn his eyes to her. For Moses remembered how Abraham had made his servant Eleazar swear, saying to him, you should not take a woman from the daughter of the Canaan for my son Isaac. Also, what Isaac did when Jacob had fled from his brother, when he commanded them, saying, you should not take a wife from the daughter of Canaan, nor make alliance with any of the children of Ham. So we know that children of Ham, that's the Egyptians, all right, from that area anyway. For the Lord our God gave Ham the son of, the Lord our God gave Ham the son of Noah and his children to all the descendants as slaves, to the children of Shem and to the children of Yepeth, and to their descendants after them for slaves forever. I'll repeat that to you. For the Lord gave Ham the son of Noah and his children, all his descendants as slaves, to the children of Shem. Now that's who we come from. We come from Shem. And to the children of Yepeth, or Japheth, Japheth, and to their descendants after them for slaves forever. Therefore Moses turned not his heart nor his eyes to the wife of Canias all the days that he reigned over Cush. Moses feared the Lord his God all his life, and Moses walked before the Lord in truth in all his heart and soul, and he turned not from the right way all the days of his life, and declined not from the way either to the right or to the left, in which Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob had walked. That's what Moses did. Moses strengthened himself in the kingdom of the children of Cush and guided, and the children of Cush was his usual wisdom. Moses proposed prosper in the kingdom. So, and then he go on talking about the war that Moses had with these people and how he won the war with his people. But you have these pastors, preachers, and teachers telling you all these different stories, but they don't know nothing about Moses, and they don't even try to find out the truth. All they do is do what was planned for them to do, teach those half truths. Because we know when we go read the book of the Apocrypha, this book right here, the Apocrypha. See this book? That's the Apocrypha. That's the book that we read. So once we go to read the book of Apocrypha, And go to Second Maccabees, and I think it's in chapter 3 or 4, something like that. That you know that Jason abridged the Bible for what? For his sake. For he got with the Edomites, and that's what they did. And so that's what you're preaching, half truths. You're not preaching the whole truth. You're preaching half truth, and you won't go find out the truth, even though the truth is written down in some other book. Because I tried to get these pastors, preachers, teachers, and everything to go into, not just them, the people that they're learning for. I try to get them to go into other books and for them to see the whole truth, but they don't want that. They don't want that. They keep on regurgitating those lies and things that they have learned from the children, from their fathers and mothers when they was a child, even though it's not the truth, and grow up with it. Now you have made the lies truth. So there's another video how you and even in and it's written in the book of Jubilees in the first chapter. Well, more than this, the first chapter. But in the book of Jubilees, it tells you what you was going to do and how you was going to mix the clean with the unclean. And that's how you was going to go straight from all the festival days, all the feast days. So that's what it teaches us, and that's what we have done. All right, so another thing this morning that would happen, we're going to, let's see, because they had this on this morning, they had Dwayne Wade and his child on all I do is going by what I saw on a television program about Dwayne Wade and his child and how he coming up to be. But we know that our father Judah, this book here, the Testament of 12 Patriarchs, this one is by Robert H. Cho. Robert H. Cho. So we know what our father what our father Judah had left us and told us what was going to come and it was going to happen to us and our children in the last days. That's what he told us. And so our people just don't want to believe these things have happened, but these things have happened. The prophecy has been fulfilled, and the prophecy is still being fulfilled, and the prophecy is still coming to pass. Listen to what it says. It's on page 59 in the Testament of 12 Patriarchs, and this our father Judah. That's what he said. He said, we're going to go to, well, I guess I read it to you. I just finished reading to you that day. So we're going to start at page 58 at the bottom. The sins of Israel, the regeneration of the Messianic era. And I have read this to you many times. Now I have much grief, my children, because your lewdness and witchcraft and idolatries, and you should practice against the kingdom, following them that have familiar spirit, diviners, demons of errors. You should make your daughters singing girls and harlots, and you should mingle with the abomination of the Gentile. For which things sake the Lord shall bring upon you famine and the pestilence, death and the sword, beleaguering of thy enemies, the revilings of friends, the slaughter of children, the rape of wives, the plundering of possession, the burning of the temple of God, laying waste of the land, and enslaving yourselves among the Gentiles. And they should make some of you eunuchs for their wives. So this is the part that I was talking about. And y'all, you gotta understand when you talk about eunuchs for your wife. That's a man that don't want to have sex with a woman, a eunuch, or can't have sex with a woman. That's what it says. And you should and they should make and say this the people, this the people that you're enslaved with, the heathens and your enemies. That's what it is said. And they should make some of you eunuchs for their wives. And that's what's going on. But you don't see it that way. You have to go by the way they have programmed your mind to think. And that's why you can't get past, well, you can't get past a whole lot of things because you've been programming you to be dumbed down. Not to, and I watched this program last night coming on about this man in prison. He became a lawyer and freeing himself, but If you watch that program and all these other programs and these people doing, I just remember what I was going to talk about Joel Osteen, but that's after this. And you watch these people and all that they do, and they go through all these man things, but they make it like that. These people be in that jailhouse thing, and they never call upon the Lord thy God, the Lord thy God. And these people are dumbing you down, thinking that, making you think that the Lord is not in the picture when all these things are happening, but He is. Oh yeah, definitely He's in the picture. So get to Joel Osteen. So I listened to him yesterday evening or last night. And so he come talking about, he got to tell his fables. He got to tell his fables, got to tell them stories and things. But when I tell you something is a dream or something that happened to me in real life that the Lord God made happen to me in order for me to learn a lesson how to get more knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. But anyway, so as he's telling the fable and everything, he's talking about his, he might have said what happened to his father or something, but anyway, he's talking about supernatural. Supernatural. So you think that when God does something it's supernatural? That's a lie. That's a lie. When God does something, He is God. Besides Him, there is no other. The Most High is not no supernatural man with supernatural power. He is God. Yeah, He's God, or the Son of God, which is what? Still God. So he not no man with no supernatural power. Jesus was not the man with no man with supernatural. Jesus was God. And if you are for God, you're God. Anything you do and say must come to pass because you are God, and God can't do what? Lie. That's why when He said it is and it is, and He said it isn't and it isn't. It is not. Well, anyway. So that's God. So I would say they can want to dumb you down, make you think that these things are supernatural. But when you go read the books, all the books that the Lord God have given me, now that told you these books, and you read these things, you find out the difference between God and something that's supernatural. There's no such thing. That's something they're making up, want you to believe, so you can dumb you down, because God is God. And there's no changing in Him. Okay. Well, when you go read the book of Apocrypha, when you read this book of Apocrypha, it also tell you about God. It tell you how God does not change, and God is not a man. It's not a man. There's no such thing as supernatural with God. So that's man lies. So then after I listen to that, and then this morning, of course, I listened to T.D. Jakes, and he throw his little, because that's what they do. They throw their little slang, still come out and tell you about the person that they have heard this from. They don't do that. They put it in a third person form, another all that foolishness form. But still come out and say, if I tell you that the Lord God said that the voice said, ask T.D. Jakes, and what in hell does he want? Or what in hell do you want? I'm telling you that. And I'm alive to this, and also you gotta say this man called his lies self a lie. That's what he said. That's all you gotta do. You don't have to disguise nothing, make it seem like somebody else says something. Just go out and say what you have to say. Unless you're afraid. And if you're afraid, that's a different story. Then that shouldn't be coming out your mouth at all, because you are afraid. And you still got those people filed. I look in your audience. Yeah. I look at all your congregation and see all them old people in there with that false hair on. Don't see no gray nowhere on it. And I look at your age. Now, I know they have some people that they get way up in their 60s and 70s and hair still just be black as it was. But not all of them. Not all of them. And all of them with that long false hair and all that, it's killing them. Oh, I told you and I read that to you in this book right here. First is the book of Adam Eve. When you read that book, and that tell you about how Cain children got with them demons and painted their fingernails and toes and tattoos up and hair on fire rings and all like that. That's of the devil. That's not of God. That's not of God. And then you wear all your fine raiments and all like that. And then you're going to preach about the temptations. See, that was on the 3 temptations of Christ, talking about tests. But it's not test, temptation, well, it was trials, the 3 trials of Jesus, or the 10 trials of Father Abraham, the 10 trials of Moses, 10 trials of Joseph. It's trials. That was God called them trials. They don't call them tests, call them trials. Now, if you want to change to be test, well, that's on you. But and then you talk about how you haven't succeeded in those tests. You haven't. When the Lord God, when Satan asked God to turn that, and this come out your mouth. When the Lord God tried, when Satan tried the Lord God with turning the bread, turn the stone into bread, and you're preaching on that. You take him on a high pencil, and yeah, was telling about you giving all these riches of the world and all those things. Check yourself out. Check yourself out, because Apostle Paul and them, I told this one before, when Apostle Paul and them put on them clothes and then people start calling them gods, different gods, they hurry up and took off their fine ring. They had to do it. But Jesus tell you about the fine ring, and you're a part of that. Worshiping stones and wood, that's the building that you're in, that them people come there to worship that building, to worship that temple. Now they might say worship something else, but that's a lie. Those who worship the Lord God worship in spirit and truth. But anyway, so let's go see what the Lord God didn't give me. He gave me so much. So this is an old thing. I haven't given this to you before. It's something old. It's not nothing new. This is something old that I haven't given that to you. So let's go. So let me go. Let's search. We're going to Ezekiel chapter 34. And I have read this to you before, but there was the Lord God giving me to give to you again today. And Ezekiel chapter 34. Let's go there. Ezekiel chapter 34. I'm going to say it one more time, then we're going to be there. Ezekiel chapter 34. And the word came, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy against the shepherds of Israel. Prophesy and say unto them, Thus say the Lord God unto the shepherds, Woe be the shepherds of Israel that do feed themselves. Should not the shepherd feed the flocks? You eat the fat and you eat the fat and you clothe you with wool. You kill them that are fed, but ye feed not the flock. I want to repeat that. Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 3. You eat the fat and ye clothe you with the wool. Ye kill that are fed, but ye feed not the flock. The deceased have not strengthened. I'm saying the deceased, but that's not what it said. It said the diseased have you not strengthened, neither have you healed that which was sick, neither have you bound up that was broken, neither have you brought again that which was driven away, neither have you sought that which was lost. But with force and with cruelty have you ruled them. That's what I repeat that. The disease have you not strengthened, neither have you healed that which was sick, neither have you bound up that which was broken, neither have you brought again that which was driven away, neither have you sought that which was lost, but with force and cruelty have you ruled them. And that's the truth. That's the truth. And they were scattered because there is no shepherd, and they became meat to all the beasts of the field when they were scattered. My sheep wandered through all the mountains upon every high hill. Yea, my flock was scattered upon all the face of earth, and none did seek after them. As I live, saith the Lord, surely because my flock became a prey, and my flock became meat to every beast of the field, because there was no shepherd. Neither did my shepherd seek for my flock, but the shepherd fed himself and fed not my flock. And that's what's going on with these pastors, preachers, teachers, prophets, and all that. Man, it's all about monies. He's told you all of them was going to be given to covetousness. I read that to you again, that you're in the time of the false prophet. That's the time you're in. You're in the time of the false prophets. Well, therefore you shall hear the word of the Lord. Thus says the Lord, behold, I'm against the shepherd. I'll require my flock at their hand and cause them to cease from feeding the flock. Neither shall the shepherd feed himself anymore, for I will deliver my flock from their mouth, that they might not be meat for them. For thus says the Lord God, behold, even I will both search my flock and seek them out. And the shepherd seeketh out the flock, and they that is among his sheep that are scattered. So will I seek out my sheep, and will deliver them out all the places where they have been scattered in a cloudy and dark day. And I will bring them out from the people and gather them from the country, and I will bring them to their own land and feed them upon the mountains of Israel by the rivers and all inhabited places of the country. I will feed them in good pasture upon the high mountains of Israel shall their fold be. There shall they lie in a good fold, and in fat pasture shall they feed upon the mountains of Israel. And I will feed my flock, and I will cause them to lie down, said the Lord God. I will seek that which was lost, and bring again that which was driven away. I will bind up them that was broken, I will strengthen them that was sick. But I will destroy the fat and the strong, and I will feed them with judgment. And that's what's going to happen. It's going on now. It just started. It just on God people, the sovereignty, and just like oh man, just like when you go to oh, it really is in so many books, but just like when you go to this book here, the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs, and Lord God tells you what he's going to do in that book, the prophecy, what the prophecy said that what he is going to do. Well, and then also when you go in this book here, the Apocrypha, it's also in this book. Really, it's all through all the books because it's prophecy. And what prophecy have to be done for be fulfilled. And that's what I'm reading to you now, the prophecy of the last days and the last time when the Lord God come and gather us, just like he done when we was in Egypt. So this was this about. And as for you, O my flock, thus said Lord God, behold, I judge between cattle and cattle, between the rams and the he-goats. Seemeth a small thing unto you to have eaten up the good pasture, but you must tread down with your feet the residue of the pasture, and to have drunk of deep waters, but you must follow the residue of with your feet, and that's what they're doing. Man, look, when you go read this book here, the first and second book of Adam, it tells you Satan playing because he does it right there and there. And he does it on a small scale there and there. But you know, he's doing it on a large scale now. Well, this global warming, what you think is what Satan is doing? And as for my flock, they eat that which was trodden down with your feet, and they drink that which you have fouled with your feet. Therefore, thus says the Lord unto them, behold, even I, will judge between fat cattle and between lean cattle. Because you have thrust in the side and because you have thrust with side and with shoulder, and pushed all the disease with your horns till you have scattered them abroad. Therefore will I save my flock, and there should be no more prey. And I will judge between cattle and cattle. And I will set up one shepherd over them. He shall feed them, even my servant David. He shall feed them, they shall be their shepherd. And I, the Lord, will be their God. My servant David, a prince among them, and I, the Lord, has spoken. It said, because I want to read this to you. Say again, verse 23. And I will set up one shepherd over them, and shall feed them, even my servant David. He shall feed them, and shall be their shepherd. And so you want to say, well, why David, King David? Because when you go read King David teaches and tell you how to deal with your enemies, how to deal with the life and the things that you're going through, and what you should do and what you shouldn't do. So when you go to read Psalm 78 or read Psalms 35, those things help. Or Psalms 144. The Lord God tells you those things. David was a prophet. All right, well, so you know what King David is. That King David was a man after God's own heart. But it's just more than that. Now, I'm regurgitating that what they have been teaching us all our lives, but it's more to it than just that. It's more, like I tell you, it's more than Psalms, the 23rd chapter of Psalms. It's more than David is way more than that. But that's the pieces that they get. Man, go read Psalms 119 to find out. And I will set over one shepherd over them, and shall feed them, even my servant David, and he shall feed them, and shall be their shepherd. And I, the Lord, will be their God, and my servant David a prince among them. I, the Lord, have spoken it. I will make with them a covenant of peace, and will cause the evil beast to cease out of the land. And they shall dwell safely in the wilderness, and sleep in the woods. And that's coming. You have to know what happened in the wilderness. You have to know what happened in the woods. So in the wilderness, in the woods, when we first left Egypt, where we went at when we left Egypt the first time. Come on, man. And I will make them places around about my hill of blessing. I will cause the shower to come down, and his season shall be showers of blessing. And the tree of the field shall yield her fruit, and the earth shall yield her increase. And they shall be safe in their land, and shall know that I am the Lord when I have broken the bands of their yoke, and deliver them out of the hand of those that serve themselves of them. And that's what's happening now. These people serve themselves of you. If you stop and get out those church house, synagogue, sanctuary, high places, and temples and things, and watch how fast these things will be destroyed and go down. Watch. I tell you over and over again, man, you're supposed to be serving God, the law of God in spirit and truth. So when you go read this book, the book of Adam and Eve, or listen to it online, and you find out how Adam and Eve served God, and that has never changed. Well, I mean, all I can do is just give it up to you to accept it or reject it. Okay, well, and they shall no more be a prey to the heathen, neither shall the beasts of the land devour them, but they shall dwell safely, and none shall make them afraid. And I will raise up for them a plant of renown. They shall be no more consumed with hunger in the land, neither bears the shame of the heathen anymore. Thus shall they know that I am the Lord their God, and with them, and that they, even the house of Israel, are my people, say the Lord God. And my flock, the flock of my pasture, are men, and I am your God, say the Lord God. So that's the Lord God, man. Verse 35, chapter 35. Moreover, the word of the Lord came to saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it, and say, Thus say the Lord, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. And I will lie thy cities waste, and shall be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, because thou hast a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time of their iniquity had an end. So that's you at the end of the time. Yeah, once you get back in the bonds of forever covenant as we're doing now, the end is there, but they don't want to stop. Therefore, as I live, say the Lord God, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him returneth. And I will fill the mountains with the slain men, in the hills and the valleys and all the rivers, and should they fall that are slain with the sword, I'll make thee a perpetual desolation, and the city shall not return, and you shall know that I am the Lord. Because thou hast said, the two nations and two countries shall be mine, we will propose it, whereas the Lord was there. Therefore, as I live, say the Lord, I even do according to thy anger, and according to thy envy which thou hast used out the hatred against them. And I will make myself known among them. I have judged thee. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord, and I have heard all the blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountain of Israel, saying, They are laid desolate, They are given up to consume. And not, I tell you all again all the time. These people have prepared things for you. And that's the Lord God telling you right there. These things that these people have. And it's a perpetual hatred that they have against you. When you go read this book here, the book of Enoch, Jubilee, and Hashir, and you read the book of Hashir and find out the hatred that Esau had for Jacob, who children that we are. This a hatred, man. Man's hatred is in the, well, uh, let me finish reading this. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord, that have heard all thy blasphemies, in which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume. Thus with your mouth you have boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me, and I have heard them. Thus saith the Lord, when the whole earth rejoice, I'll make thee desolate, as thou rejoiced at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it, and shall know that I am the Lord. Now, I'm not. Let me get back to you. See, like he said that Mount Seir, that's a perpetual hatred. So T.D. Jake this morning was talking about the root and how the different things about the root. I won't get too far into it, but this man doesn't understand what the root is. The root is your ancestors. That's your ancestor. So when you go read any one of these books, any one of them books that I have told you about, it always tell you about the root. It goes all the way back to the good seed, Set seed, the good seed. Abel seed is a good seed. And that's our root. And we are caught up in that root and we blossom. And that's where we come from. That's the root that we come. Our ancestors, they are our roots. But these people, the Jakes and all them, they don't preach and teach that. No, they talking about something entirely different and not knowing what thus say the Lord God. And everything that we get come from our roots. And that's why the Lord God said, could a good tree bear bad fruit, or a bad tree bear good fruit? It can't do it. It can't do it. It can't do it. But anyway, so that's that. Our ancestors are good, and that's why the Lord God tell you, like say, I'm gonna send you Elijah. This is Malachi chapter 4, verse 5. I always say read Malachi chapter 4, verses 4 through 6. And the Lord God tell you, I'm going to send Elijah to you before the great and dreadful day of the Lord. He shall turn the hearts of the children back to the father, and the father hearts back to the children. Why? Why would he do that? Why? Because he do that? Because the hearts, when you go read this book, the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs, this is our root. This is who we come from. This is our people. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher, and Joseph, and Benjamin. These are our fathers. These are the people who we come from. We come from these people. This is our ancestors, are our root, and that goodness in us is in us. It was in us. We have to make ourselves evil and corrupt as we have done. But what the Lord God said, on the day when Israel, us, one day we become a sovereignty, a nation, the day we get back, the day we return back and read this book and turn back into our fathers, our ancestors, back to the roots from where we come, that's the day we become a nation again. That's the day the enemy land gonna be destroyed. That's what the Lord God's telling you. But we don't want to hear that. You around here listen to these pastors preaching everything. The Lord God tell you over and over, these people are not for you. They're for themselves. And they just give you all those smooth and peace-selling words. For what? To keep on feeding them and keep on being with them. So that's all I can tell you. Give it to you like the Lord God. And that's why the Lord God tell you over and over again, come on, my people. Because he's going to destroy it. I done seen him destroy it so many times in so many different ways. I said, man, that was coming on the face of the earth. And I told you within 3 years, you don't have to believe me. But whether you believe me or not, you're not going to stop it from coming. Well, let's go ahead. Let's finish reading this, and then I'm out. So let's go. Also, thou son of man, Ezekiel chapter 36. Also, son of man, prophesy against the mountain of Israel. Say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord. Thus say the Lord God, behold, the enemy have said unto you, aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. So that's your enemies telling you that. These Jews, that's where they're at. They're in your land. Come on, bro. Them Jews are in your land. Those that say are Jews but are not are in your land. The real Jews are not in your land. The real Jews know they're going through suffering and persecution just like we, and they won't step foot in that land. No, they won't. Oh, no, you might wait till they get old and take, come on, we bring you hold of Israel, but that's a lie. Well, because they don't have no choice. When you get a certain age, whether you don't want to go or not, whether they take you by force. Why? Because you elderly, know you can't fight them or nothing, unless God holy angels knock one of their head off. Therefore prophesy and say, thus say the Lord God, behold, they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that you might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and you are taken up in the lips of talkers and are in the infamy of the people. See that? The lips of the talkers. So that's a seducing period. And with these pastors and preachers and everything, they do what you're doing. They talk to you and they give you that seducing spirit. And they say, with our mouths shall we prevail. That's what they say. And then we say the heathen, the residue of the heathen. So, and when you read this book here, when you go to the book of the 12 patriarchs, I think it's in our father. Oh man, I just want to make sure I get it right. But that's why I say all the time I'll say one of our fathers. But I think it might be Gad or Naphtali. It might be Gad or Naphtali. Wait a minute. Yeah, I think it's Naphtali. Our father Naphtali. One of all of them tell us. But our father Naphtali, one of our fathers tell us how an ocean turns into a river turns into a sea. An ocean turn into a river turn into a spring, a lake, and the lake turns into a spring. I'm back. But anyway, so how it turns into a stream. And so that's what you have, that's what we have done. We're in all these different church houses and everything. We're not serving God. We're serving these bricks and mortar things. That's what he's telling you done. That's what you'll possess. You're Pentecostal, Baptist, Seventh-day Adventist, Catholic, and you all these different things, but instead of being God's saints, God's holy children of God, you ain't not that no more. You that made yourself all these different things. And when you go to the book of the Testament of 12, our fathers tell us that what was going to become to us, and we're going to become nothing. That's where I saw them today, because we are not one people. Therefore prophesy and say, thus say the Lord, because you have made you desolate, swallowed up on every side, that you might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen. You are taken up in the lips of talkers and are in infamy of the people. See, that's what I'm just giving it to you at the Lord God giving it to me. Therefore, you mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord. Thus say the Lord God to the mountains and to the hills, to the rivers and to the valleys and desolate wastes, in the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about. Thus say the Lord God, surely the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, against all Idumea have I appointed my land unto their possession, with the jar of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast out for a prey. Prophesy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and the seed unto the mountains, and to the hills, to the rivers, and to the valleys, say the Lord God. Behold, I have spoken in my jealousy, in my fury, because you have borne the shame of the heathen. Are we not born the shame? Man, look at your daughters, look at your people. Man, you got these young, beautiful Israel people, men and women, young and beautiful, committing suicide at a alarming rate, especially in Atlanta, Georgia. And man, all you gotta do is get these people and tell them about the Holy Covenant. Tell them about this, not just the Sabbath, tell them about the Holy Covenant. And give them Deuteronomy chapter 20. See this paper? not by might nor by power, but give that to one of your brothers or sister or one of your neighbors and learn. I mean, you're only supposed to hit out 300 copies, but give them one of them and see might help, might save their life, might save their soul if they do what thus say the Lord. Yeah, well, you can't blame everything on everybody. Some of this, a lot of this is because of what we have forsaken. Well, let me finish reading for you. Well, let's finish. Prophesy those therefore concerning the land of Israel, and say unto the mountains, and to the hills, the rivers, and to the valleys, thus saith the Lord, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because thou hast borne the shame of the heathen. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, I have lifted up my hand, surely the heathen that are about you, they shall bear their shame. That's when we repent. But you, O Mount of Israel, you shall shoot forth your branches and yield your fruit to my people Israel, for they are at hand to come. And that's where you at. We're in the time of the consummation. We are in a time where we're getting back to become a nation, a people, getting our sovereignty back, our race back. Man, come on. And all we got to do, we ain't got to go out there marching and fighting, calling, hooping, and crying. That's not of the law of God. All we supposed to do what? Go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Humble yourself before the throne of grace. Call on the holy name, Lord God, Jesus, whose name is excellent. Repent with your whole heart. Keep all his commandments. All of them. Not just 9. All his commandments. All of his commandments. Enter back in the binds of forever covenant. And it shall go well with you. Deuteronomy chapter 2. And be baptized where? In Jesus' name. Come on, man. And stop listening to what these people say. And go and seek out and know the Lord for yourself. Go get the knowledge of God and stop. Oh, hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Amen. Amen. Stop doing that. Stop doing that in the church house. Because that's all you're doing. Worshiping like the Lord, stone and wood. All right. Well, let's see what the Lord God say about it. Before I am with you, and I will turn you, and you shall be tilled and sown. And I will multiply men upon you at all the house of Israel, even all of it. And the city shall be inhabited, and the way shall be built. And I will multiply upon you man and beast, and you shall increase and bring fruit. And I will settle you after your old estate, and I will do better unto you than at your beginnings. And you shall know that I am the Lord. And that's what you. Well, let's finish reading. And I will cause men to walk upon you, even my people Israel, and they shall possess thee, and thou shalt be their inheritance, and thou shalt no more henceforth bereave them of men. And so that's what the Lord God tell you when you go read this book, any one of the books, really. I'm just telling about when you read the book of the Testament of 12 page throughout, it tells you in the book of Napoli, all our brothers tell you how the Lord God gonna come and get us. Man, he's going to come and get us and bring us back to our land. Thus said Lord, because they say unto thy land devours up men and have bereaved thy nation, therefore thou shalt devour men no more, neither bereave the nation anymore, said the Lord God. Neither will I cause men to hear in thee the shame of the heathen anymore, neither shall thou bear the reproach of my people anymore. Neither shall thou cause nations to fall anymore, said the Lord God. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, school, you know we're not in our own land, they defiled it by their own way and their own doings. Their way was before me as uncleanness and of a removed woman. And so that's what happened to us. Why? Because we got out of the bonds of the forever covenant. And when you read the Deuteronomy chapter 1, it tells you about the blessing and the curses. So where you are at now? You're in the curse part. Why? Why? Because you listen to the Son of Man, the house, it dwelt in their own land. They defiled it by their own way, by their doing. So that's what we did. We did our own ways. And well, let's finish reading with the Lord. And we know how we know we did that? Because where we are now. Wherefore I will pour out my fury upon them for the blood that they have shed upon the land, and for the idols wherewith they have polluted it. And that's what you serving now. And I'll scatter them among the heathen. They will be dispersed through the country according to their way, according to the doings I have judged them. And so that's where we are at. And the Lord God is telling over and over again. Stop listening to these pastors and preaching with their lip service and that seducing spirit. Stop listening to them, man. And get back and know the Lord God for yourself. Get back, keeping His holy covenant. Man. And when they entered into the heathen, whether they went, they profaned my holy name. And when they said to them, these are the people of the Lord, are gone forth out of His land. But I had pity for my holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the heathen where they went. And that's what you're doing. Because you have the, well, therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus says the Lord God, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for my holy name's sake, which you have profaned among the heathen, whether you went. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profane among the heathen, which you have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen should know that I am the Lord, said the Lord God, when I will be sanctified in you before their eyes. So that's what's coming up now. And that's what, man, my time is up. And that's what they're mad about now, because we getting clean. We getting clean. Well, and I will sprinkle clean water upon you, and you should be clean for all your filthiness, and from all your idols I will cleanse you. And that's why I tell you, you got to be baptized. Well, go St. John chapter 3 and listen to what the Lord God told Nicodemus. And you have to be washed. Okay, well, all I can do is give it to you like the Lord God said. And know what He said, when you sprinkle clean water upon you, and you should be clean, baptized from all your filthiness, for all your idols, will I cleanse you? A new heart also I will give you, a new spirit will I put in you, and I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and you should keep my judgment and do this. Well, so, that's what He said. And that's how we are special people. We know that. And we know what He said He was going to do, and He's doing that. And look at that. I'll put my spirit within them, and you will cause to walk in my statutes, and you shall keep my judgments and do that. And do them. And that's what, hey, man, that's what's going on. You know what I mean? All I can do. And you should dwell in the land that I give to your father. You should be my people, and I will be your God. I will also save you from all your uncleanness. And I will call for the corn and will increase it, and lay no famine upon you. And I will multiply the fruit of the tree and increase the of the field, and you shall receive no more reproach of my famine among the heathen. Then shall you remember your own evil ways and your doings that were not good, and shall loathe yourself in your own sight for your iniquities and for your abominations. And that's what I had to do, man. Yeah, man. Man, when the Lord God showed me His covenant, all the laws, when you go through around chapter 28, and He shows you all the laws and statutes and His covenant and the things that you're supposed to be doing, man, I wasn't doing those things. And all I was running behind these church houses, fine raiment, silver, gold, cars, and all that stuff. And once He showed me, man, I loathed myself, because, man, I said, man, all I had to do is do this, and they ain't going to go well. And they're gone truly well with me since I got back in the bonds of forever covenant and doing His way and His will and not my own. Well, all I can do is tell you what happened. Not for your sake do I do this, say the Lord God, but it's known unto you. Be ashamed and confound of your own ways, O house of Israel. And you should be ashamed and confounded. Thus said the Lord God, in the day that I shall have cleansed you from all your iniquities, I will also cause you to dwell in the city, and the waste shall be built, and the waste shall be built. And the desolate land shall be tilled, whereas it is laid desolate in the sight of all that pass by. And they shall say, this land was desolate, and it's become like the Garden of Eden. And the waste and desolate ruined city are become fenced and are inhabited. Then the heathen that are left from round about you shall know that I, the Lord, build the ruined place and plant that which was desolate, and I, the Lord, has spoken it, and I will do it. Thus said the Lord God, I will yet for this be inquired by the house of Israel to do it for them, and I will increase them with men like a flock. See, I will increase them with men like a flock. And as the holy flock, the flock of Jerusalem, in their solemn feasts, So shall the waste city be filled with the flocks of men, and they should know that I am the Lord. But that's why I tell you over and over again, those people that are in that land call themselves Jews, but they are not. They are not of God's people. They have nothing to do with God. And as I was telling a brother the other night, I told him, say, if you want to know what's going on, go read, in the book of Kings about Jezebel and Ahab and what they did and how they stole the land of Israel. And that's what they are doing now. That's the abomination. And in the Testament of the 12 patriarchs, Father Levi, all other fathers told you about what those Jews and them was going to do. And even when you go to this book here, the Apocrypha, and read the Maccabees, and they tell you exactly what they had done. The book of how these Catholics and all them and the Jews got together and they're over there in our land and what they're doing and how they distorted us and all our ways. But what the law of God said, don't worry about that. Don't cry over spilt milk. All you got to do is repent with your whole heart. Keep all, yeah, he said, humble yourself before the throne of grace. Repent with your whole heart. Keep all my commandments in the back and the bonds of forever covenant. And he's going to return back unto us and plant us back what as the first. And come and get us with a mic, because these people not going to let us go. They're not. Even when you repent, they're not going to let you go. Lord God have to come and get us. And like he said, come and set the captives free. And man, that's what I say, within 3 years, pack your bags, get it together, because we leaving. We leaving whether they want us to leave or not, we're going to be gone. And when we go, what the Lord God said, on the day when Israel lived, the whole world going to be cast into darkness. The whole world, not just some of it, the whole world, because we are scattered throughout all the earth. And just like he told you, just like I came and got you in Egypt, maybe I'll read that to you. I'll read that to you because it took like 10 years. And people think that, you start listening to those movies and the pastor, they act like that, all that happened in 1 year. But that's a lie. After Moses threw down that stick of Joseph, let's say that stick behind him. Stick of Joseph, after he threw down that stick, it was 2 years before God sent him back. And so when God sent him back, between the time the plague and the time they left Egypt, that was 10 years. That was altogether 8 years. So altogether, for that 2 years and the other 8 years made 10 years. So it tells you when they left Egypt and how they left. So you got to go read the book of Hashum. This is not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, say the Lord of hosts. Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, say the Lord. Go hand out your 300 copies. Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, say the Lord. And I'm Elijah until next time.